Nobody knows what goes on in Putin's mind, and many people hope that he will be satisfied. But if you examine his talk and that of his foreign ministers and his acolytes, they've talked themselves up into a situation where they just want to eradicate the Ukrainian nation completely.
This is the battle that could define the war. Fighting over the city of Severodonetsk in eastern Ukraine has been brutal, and President Volodymyr Zelensky, whose troops have been pushed back to the outskirts of the city, said the fate of the entire Donbas region is being decided there. Askold Krushelnycky is in Mykolaiv on the Black Sea in the south near Odessa. Good morning to you, Askold.
Good morning.
What's the latest, as you understand it, with the battle for Severodonetsk?
Well, as you've just said, President Zelensky yesterday made a speech, as he usually does every evening, to the Ukrainians, and he has emphasized how important this battle is. He said that many Ukrainian soldiers are being killed and wounded there. He says that there are many more Russians who are suffering the same fates, but it has been, over the past 2 weeks, remorselessly in favor of the Russians, who have taken bits of the city, but more bits of the city. Sometimes there's been back and forth with Ukrainian military retaking some of the captured parts of the city. But now it seems that they're defending their positions right out on the outskirts, on the western outskirts of the city. And the Russians have, for some reason, apparently set tomorrow as the date when they expect to take Severodonetsk. That's intercepts by Ukrainian intelligence of Russian signals. So some sort of climax to this fight seems to be approaching.
And do we have to get used to it? For the first 95 days of the invasion, the news was really Russia's overmatched itself. It can't do what it wants to do. Its weapons aren't particularly good. Its soldiers aren't particularly good. The Ukrainians have heroically been able to not only resist them, but actually push them back from all across the country. That was a narrative that's become fixed in all our minds, a happy narrative for almost all of us. Is the new narrative that if Russia concentrates just in the Donbas region, it has a very strong chance of winning this?
It's still a race against time for both sides. The Ukrainians are relying on Western promises of new and powerful weapons that can outdistance Russia's artillery. They have great hopes, and they always emphasize how grateful they are to Britain and to the US. And these weapons, which are longer range howitzers, modern howitzers, and multiple launch rocket systems. Some of them have arrived. The rocket systems haven't. They need 2 or 3 weeks for Ukrainians to be trained up on them. And so I think what's happening around Severodonetsk, why are they holding on there, even though most of the city's been ruined, is that they know that they can, or they feel confident that they can push back the Russians once this modern weaponry arrives. So the Ukrainians are saying it's not over yet, and it is, but it is an important battle, and the Russians seem determined to get Severodonetsk. But they've done that by just amassing masses of artillery. They're outnumbered Ukrainian weaponry by up to 10-1, and many, many more actual soldiers. So it isn't over yet. And if that new weaponry arrives and the Ukrainians can be trained up quickly to use it, they might still be able to take back some of this territory that the Russians have captured.
But just finally, Askold, is this Putin building his own off-ramp? That effectively he says, well, look, I'm keeping Crimea. There's nothing's changed there. I've still got that. I had a foothold in the Donbass region before this war. I've now expanded that. We've grown our territory. We've locked up parts that were disputed militarily. Actually, that was the aim of the war all along, and now I can happily stop any further action because we've had a success that I can sell to the Russian people.
Nobody knows what goes on in Putin's mind, and many people hope that he will be satisfied, and that by the way, there's an air raid siren just gone off here, but Putin may use it as a justification to for humanitarian reasons. He'd portray it as a ceasefire, but Ukrainians don't believe that it would be a permanent ceasefire. It might be a pause for a few months, a year, but if you examine his talk and that of his foreign ministers and his acolytes, they've talked themselves up into a situation where they just want to eradicate the Ukrainian nation completely. So nobody in Ukraine is hopeful that this is somehow signaling the end of the fighting and killing.